Very few entertainment properties in the last few decades have had quite the same impact as the MCU. A cinematic universe with one foot submerged just deep enough in the source material that it continues to smell like it, long after it's sauntered off with a big bag of money over one shoulder, it's changed the way we view movies, comics and the often troubled crossovers between. Surprisingly though, it's only made a few half-hearted forays into the gaming universe, with Marvel preferring instead to create big standalone action games like Spider-Man. Even Crystal Dynamics' upcoming Avengers game is looking to avoid any direct connections to the MCU. The same can be said for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 The Black Order, which follows on from a franchise first devised before Downey Jr. even climbed into the Iron Man suit. As in the previous titles, the Black Order throws a pile of A, B and C-list heroes together in a big pot, adds a story of Frankenstein together from various different sources, stirs in some wisecracks, roughly one every 3.5 seconds, and lets you get on with pounding stuff shitless. The plot begins with the Guardians of the Galaxy falling foul of Ronan the Accuser and Proxima Midnight, and discovering that Thanos is hunting down the 6 Infinity Stones. From there you'll move through various locations that will feel familiar, from the Raft Super Prison to Xavier's School for the Gifted, fighting off a bevy of pedigreed villains from Ultron and Kingpin to the Hand Ninja Clan, Dr. Octopus and Loki. It does a decent job of juggling locales and characters, managing to include many more famous faces beyond the impressive 36 character roster. Environments aren't greatly detailed, but most are iconic enough that you know where you are even without lashings of atmosphere. That being said, the writers do capture the personalities of the lineup well, even making the smart decision to sideline some of the larger MCU players like Iron Man and Captain America to make characters like Luke Cage and Crystal feel more important. The voice acting is pretty confident throughout, featuring performers like Yuri Lowenthal who plays Spider-Man here exactly as he did in Sony's exclusive blockbuster.
It's a total riot!
Other characters like Iron Man, Black Widow and Rocket are voiced by pretty accurate impressionists and will sound super familiar. Most characters get their moment to contribute something to the story, but some are conspicuously absent from the playable lineup, Jessica Jones, Vision and Nick Fury to name a few, while some are conspicuously absent altogether like The Punisher, Jean Grey and the Fantastic Four. Future DLC will likely fill in some of the gaps, and for now they're enough to get to grips with, more than enough to be honest. Each character levels up individually, and because you'll always be using 4 at a time and certain combinations have better synergy, you will find some characters are simply left behind. Heroes work better with characters from their own subgroup, so the Guardians have great synergy, as do the Spider-Verse bunch and the Avengers. Really, any group of 4 has the potential to be a devastating force, but playing to the character's group strengths is the best strategy. Arguably, the progression system is a little convoluted. While characters level up from performing well in fights, this will only increase individual stats and activate their individual super attacks such as Cap's shield charge or Hulk's ground slam. Each character also has an ultimate attack unleashed when the yellow meter around their portrait is flashing. This particular attack will synergise with the other 3 characters as well, producing an Ultimate Alliance attack that does devastating damage to enemies and is especially useful in boss fights. Besides the levelling system, there's also a huge universal stat tree called the Lab to fill out using cash and currency earned in missions that will increase damage, durability, resilience and energy for all your heroes, as well as impart various buffs. Add to this the ISO 8 compound, which applies buffs and debuffs to specific talents and stats, which you can deconstruct, combine and rebuild into more potent versions, and you've got quite a robust progression system that will take some time to fully understand. Probably the biggest surprise is that despite being advertised heavily as a co-op game and offering both local and online multiplayer, the Black Order feels better played alone. At certain points the camera zooms out so far that even on a big TV it's hard to see what's going on, and I much prefer having the option to switch between characters to utilise all the powers and combat styles I want when I want to. In either multiplayer or solo, handheld or docked, I'm happy to report that the Black Order runs like warm butter. Even when you're spamming attacks and synergising ultimates, there's no frame rate drops or slowdowns. At times, Ultimate Alliance 3 becomes a little repetitive, but the vast array of characters and bosses keeps things interesting throughout. The difficulty is a tad uneven, especially in the Infinity Trials, which really feel like they need a tweak, but it's an enjoyable adventure that franchise fans will fall in love with. I'd have liked to see more real costumes to unlock instead of just coloured skins, and it's a genuine shame that the co-op actually feels less fun than playing solo, but Team Ninja have crafted a likeable scrapper that sets out to entertain and succeeds in doing just that.